Hi everybody, I'm Audrey Moore with Audrey Helps Actors, and this is episode number 15. Today we are talking to Hayes Hargrove and Katie Von Till, two of my favorite actors in town. We're going to discuss elections. Both of them are on the Unite for Strength platform, and we get into so many really important topics. These are two actors. They are young, but they are veterans. They've been making their money in all areas of television, commercial, voiceover. They are such top of the field professionals, and they have so many friends at all levels, and they work with people who are newbies. They work next to people who are veterans just like they are, and they bring so much experience and humor and passion to this episode, and I am so grateful to have them on. They said things that really inspired me and blew my mind, so I'm sure they will do the same for you. Before we get into it, I just want to say, again, I am not a journalist. I am sitting with Katie and Hayes. They are of the Unite for Strength ballot. I did not meet with anybody from Membership First, but I am going to read to you an email I got from Membership First, and I am going to post a little discussion that happened from people running in the elections. So if you want to hear some people from Membership First talk about their side, I encourage you to go find the link on the Audrey Helps Actors website under the blog section, and that's going to have a link that I was given in this email. And also we will put it in the show notes. If you just click on the episode in iTunes, it'll be in the show notes. So this email comes to me from a stunt woman. I'm not going to say her name for respecting of privacy. I didn't get her permission to say that this was her email, so I'm not going to say who she is. She is a Membership First member, and just to remind you, there is Membership First and there is Unite for Strength, or you can run as an independent. She says, "Hi Audrey, I started listening to your podcast a while ago and have been enjoying your content. Congratulations on a job well done in marketing. I appreciate that you are helping actors take their power. Hope you don't mind me reaching out, but you said we could email you. I listened to your podcast about the contract, and yes, it has now passed. Don't worry, coming from the other side, I won't be one of those angry ones that will argue and be mean to you. I appreciate that you acknowledge both sides as much as you could, but it seemed to me that you were one-sided and leaning strongly towards the Unite for Strength side. I was at the informational meeting too, and it was rough. I am a working stunt woman and actor, and this contract passing will hurt me. Granted, it's been progressively getting worse for years, but this is a flat-out unfair for me and about 4,000 other working stuntmen and women. Again, this is not an angry email. Please don't take this as an attack, especially since I'm a fan of your work. But please take it, in my point of view, that these contracts have been my bread and butter for the past 10 years, and I'm unhappy with how my paychecks and residuals have been getting chipped away at, not to mention my pension. This work is all I know. I don't have a side coaching job or teach yoga or wait tables or have a reception job. This is my job. This is my livelihood. Coming from someone who knows and has actually worked at least 100 of these contracts, I'd like to ask that you please share all sides come election time, please. Not that you did this, but I keep hearing that Membership First is spreading lies for political gain, and this is unfair to say. In fact, this is my only rebuttal I have been hearing. No hard facts. And I understand you are sharing what you know, but it was like as if UFS was talking through you. One more time, you have my respect. I am all about helping other people too, but since you have this great following, it would be much more helpful if you were not so partial. I agree with you in your podcast when you said that there were two types of actors in this. One that thinks it's all roses, and one that wants it to be the way they used to be. I must say, coming from someone that has gotten a taste of both, I prefer the good old days. I'm glad that Gabrielle looked out for you on set, but this is what I do every day I work. It is my job to keep my actors safe and look out for others' safety. As a stunt woman, I am saddened to see that when it was time to have our backs, the stuntmen's backs, actors didn't have ours. I think it's because they didn't really know how unsafe this contract is. I'm also an actor, so I see both sides. I can see why some actors would vote yes. Heck, some actors would chop their arm off for a role if they knew it would help. As a member of the union, as an actor, a stunt woman, and someone that will still listen to your podcast when this is over, I just want to ask you that you please ask the right questions, more questions, and see all the sides that you can and share that knowledge, not just the knowledge of UFS. This to me is what is helpful. These guys share all the views of every candidate. We got to hear from everybody in this link except for Gabrielle because she didn't participate. But please, if you want to really help actors, particularly with something as important as this, please share every side. These guys did it. Please take the time to give it a listen. I know it's a lot, but it's definitely worth listening to see how they handle the conversation from different views. If you could at least listen to the first 15 minutes of this podcast, I'm certain you would be enlightened. Just let it play while you are cleaning or on a commute, but please listen to it as soon as you can. Then she puts the link in and then she says, I thank you for reading this big long email if you read it at all. Again, I appreciate what you are doing here and helping actors. Look forward to hearing more from you. All my best. So I'm going to post this link up. Please give a listen. I've invited her on the show. She's going to do that. We are going to talk together about the contract that we just passed and about her concerns as a stunt woman and actress regarding that contract. So I listened to the podcast that she recommended. I listened to the portion where Peter Antico, who is running opposite Gabrielle Carteris, and Esai Morales, who is also running as president. Peter Antico is running as an independent. Esai Morales is running as part of the Membership First team. I highly encourage you guys to listen to it. You know, there's some really good points made, some interesting things that are discussed. I also just want to say to all of you, I know many of you are like, Audrey, just tell me who to vote for. And I will, but just know I'm still like grossly underqualified to be telling you guys who to vote for. That said, I'm likely more qualified than almost all of you. So that's another shout out for me to encourage you guys to get involved, to learn more. But Peter Antico, he makes some really great points about the economics. He has some really great ideas as far as, you know, tracking residuals for online, all those sorts of things. He has what sound like some good criticisms as far as the way that SAG has been handling his finances. He has legitimate concerns for his community, the stunt community, and travel and safety and how that's affected. You can listen to this other podcast for more details on that. The parts that sort of felt off to me, though, is he says some, pretty negative stuff about Gabrielle Carteris, which doesn't sit right with me just because I worked with her before she was even a union president, and in my experience of her was that she is absolutely a champion for the actor. So that sort of doesn't gel with me. And he also, talks a little bit about people making decisions for our union who are not invested in the pension and health. The rhetoric to me seemed a little non-uniting, and I really feel like that's true. There are a lot of people who are not informed and are not invested in making decisions. So is true for all political systems. You have people who are 20 who are voting, and their concerns are going to be different than people who are 70 who are voting. That's part of any political system. And so it just didn't seem quite as inclusive to me as I would like it to be. But I would be interested in what you guys thought, and give it a listen. As far as Esai Morales is concerned, I think he was on set. He was very tired. He seems to have some general ideas of where he would start. He's certainly been in the business for a really long time, and he's looking at giving some power back to local markets. He's looking at giving more power to the background community. So my podcast, in full transparency, is Unite for Strength. I don't have anyone coming on from any other point of view. But I do trust these two people emphatically. I can't tell you how emphatically I trust these people. They don't seem to have a false bone in their body as far as I'm concerned. But I'm certainly interested in all points of view. I recommend you get all points of view as much as you can. The other podcast is not that long. Just if nothing else, listen to the other two people and their points of view, Esai Morales and Peter Antico, just to have a little more information. All right, as a reminder, I'm going to have a link to my Instagram with the cheat sheets of everyone that I am voting for. Will be pictures, so you can just look at pictures and fill in the holes like I did. Please do your own research, be informed, make your own choices, or just copy me like a lot of you are going to do. What are you going to do? Do the work, you guys. All right, I hope you're on your way to an audition. Did you book it last week? I hope you did. If you didn't, don't feel bad. You'll book one this week. I know you will. Audrey helps actors because they don't know anything. So hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Moore with Audrey Helps Actors, and we have here today...
I'm Katie Von Till.
And I'm Hayes Hargrove.
Yay! Everybody's here!
Show clap.
So, okay, yeah, show clap. So Katie and I have something in common. So just so you guys know, this episode is likely to be extra explicit because Katie has a potty mouth like I do. So
I'm going to try so hard.
You don't have to because I get so many messages about it. It's already on. It's up.
Well, the thing is, I do it in real life, but I try not to do it where it's recorded because I don't want evidence of it to exist out in the ether.
Well, you're much better than I am. I have nothing but evidence of it existing out in the ether. So, you guys, we're going to talk today about the elections you're both running.
Yes.
But I want to do like a little bit of like who's who.
Who's who.
So, I met you guys. I think I met you both officially through the commercial recapture moment, right?
Yeah.
But I see you around at all the auditions.
Yeah, I mean, I think this sort of secondary community is forming among people who are starting to show up and get more active at our union. I mean, it's a newer thing for me.
Me too.
This commercials recapturing thing is what started it for me.
Yep.
I don't think I'd never been over into that big room. I'd never gone over to that building other than to pick something up or...
So I just did one on the contract.
I didn't hear that one.
And what I say is that there's like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 actors, and phase 1 actors aren't involved because they don't... They're like, I'll do anything just to get credits, just to get tape. They don't feel a lot to gain or lose in either direction. They're just trying to work. And then phase 3 people are the people who seem to stop caring because they become so famous and rich. And it's sort of like the union thing isn't their thing because they have lawyers working on their contracts. Right. And they're going to get whatever they need to get because the lawyers are working that out. Right. But it's the phase 2 actors, the working class actors, the actors who maybe go between phase 3 and phase 2, depending on their year. And those are the people that are a little bit more involved in the union.
And I wish I had started as a phase 1 actor.
Well, that's what I say.
Yeah, because I just didn't know. I didn't understand the very basic concept that the members are the union.
I would say that's the thing that most people don't understand. I always say you are the union and the union is you. And then I'm such a bitch on social media because people are always posting they're always posting things like, our union, fuck them and my residuals and blah, blah, blah. And I always post, have you ever gone to a meeting? And then crickets. And then I will post like the next meeting. I'm like, the union is you and you are the union. And if you don't go, nobody fights for you. And I'll just say it again. There's no magical group of people who are making decisions for you. The people that are making decisions for you are the people who are in the union that are involved in the union. And the whole purpose unions were created was so that the workers had rights over their own workforce versus a boss being in charge of it.
Yeah, we have a voice.
That's right. How long have you been here? Did you go to school and all that sort of stuff?
I started doing community theater as a kid, and then I went to Michigan State University, Go Green, studied theater there, and then I actually moved to New York.
Great.
So I started out in the theater world. So it was a few years in New York trying the theater thing, and it was a bad time for theater. It was January. It was 28 degrees. I was standing outside the Equity building the building was going to open at 8 for a sign-in that began at 9 for an audition that began at 10.
Thing. Yep.
I said to the girl...
you were going to get typed out of anyway?
No, I said to the girl next to me, I go, hey, can you hold my spot? I'm going to count where we are in line. Yeah. And I counted. I was going to be 40th on the alternate list. Oh, I wasn't even going to get a slot. It was 28 degrees. I was freezing my butt off. And this was for summer stock in Vermont.
I know. That's why I left. That's why I left. Because I looked at it and I was like, oh, I see what we're doing. This is the broke AF line for 10 years.
Yeah. So I started in stage with the actors. We moved here, started booking got a co-star and something, but just kept doing the theater because there aren't many gatekeepers in theater because they have EPAs and equity chorus calls, so you can get
What's
seen.
What's an EPA?
Equity Principal Audition.
Uh-huh. It's like they have to have them, but they don't
I'm
mean
just
anything.
helping her listen.
Thank
you're
you
so
much.
good.
I didn't know either.
You're
but...
so good. You're so helpful. But then I'd get the occasional TV audition, occasional role, and then I started getting into voiceover. I got a great agent right off the bat who I'm still with. I tried to get into commercials for a decade. I tried. I would get rinky-dink agent after rinky-dink agent, occasionally slightly better one. I couldn't get out. In 10 years, I had 40 auditions. That's 4 per year.
Yep.
And in that, I actually booked 3 spots. But
can we just pause, you guys, on Katie knowing her fucking statistics?
It's a little
because,
weird.
No, I know my statistics
I will
too.
spreadsheet
I'm
the
like,
shit
listen,
out of
me
anything.
too. You see that folder? That's all my statistics.
I said you were a little weird for having stats. On the other hand, I don't keep stats as much as I do lists, though. Yep. So I got really into we call it listing.
He calls it
it's like
the list.
It's a verb.
He calls it the list.
I love
and
it.
he said, "Are you listing right now, honey? I can't. Honey, I'm listing.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, but that's kicked my career
Cool.
into more of a high gear, or if nothing else, it's helped put it in sort of an auto, like an auto drive kind of where like I can, I have all the commercial directors,
Yes.
I have all the production companies, I have all the casting people, the associates, the assistants.
And are you doing like who you've worked with and
Oh,
what
yeah.
from who? Is that part of your list?
That's
really
pretty
smart.
insanely detailed.
Just so
It's
you know,
color coded.
That's great. No, that's a real thing, and I do know lots of people who do that. I add to my list who booked the job. So that I can also see like what because then you start to figure out your category really well.
Who's your nemesis?
Yeah, and like who do I want to kill? No, but that was really helpful for me to discover that I was a character actress.
Yeah,
because I started noticing that all of the girls who were booking all the ones I was going out for were very charactery, and I was like, oh. I thought I was cute.
I need to go that way a little bit.
Yeah, and that's sort of what helped me have that perspective. And just also seeing some actors make certain choices that I never veer towards as an actor. Like I usually don't choose just stupid, and I usually don't choose sentimental. Those aren't like the two go-tos. But I will see other actresses go to that, and that just reminds me of like, oh, I see, or just like seeing what they did about story. Why picking them was right for the story versus what I did, because it's not personal. It's never personal. It's like what they brought and what that does for the story.
And you could have done the same thing that they did,
yes.
but it maybe doesn't sit
that's
the
exactly
same
right.
on you.
No,
like,
see, people don't know that, but that we'll have to do a whole podcast on that. That's a whole thing. Hayes, you've been here for how many years?
Years.
Great. And you
I'm a fresh face.
Yeah, he's a fresh face. Brand new on the scene.
I mean, I'm from the South, from Southern boy, and I went to school in North Carolina at Duke, and I did not study. I started acting when I was probably like 4 or 5. I was the Hobbit in the Lord of the Rings. A small little one-act production at the Melon Patch Players.
You're adorable.
I had some
Melon
really
Patch
smart,
Players.
slightly older friends that wrote me into that. I acted I did like local theater and stuff, and then in college, it was sort of like, okay, time to do the college thing and go get a medical degree or something. God. And once I graduated with an environmental science degree, I was just like, I don't really necessarily want to do this. And so I came to LA about a year after school.
You started doing improv?
I mean, back then, like...
It wasn't what it is now.
It wasn't a thing that everyone knew about. Like, Whose Line wasn't out yet, so, my mom didn't know what improv was.
Yeah.
So it was a revelation to me, and I had been hearing how cool... I can't remember if I had gone to a show or not, but I just was like, oh, that sounds really cool. I think I'll go do that. So I went and did Groundlings, and that changed my life. I mean, I learned improv, which I use on a daily basis at every single audition, and just in life that kind of changed my life. And then also you develop a group of friends that you come up with. They're all now running Hollywood. It was, if you do that at UCB or wherever else, like that's a really great community to join.
Well, so the reason that I really think you guys are so qualified for this discussion is because you have been here for a long time. You have had careers of all the peaks and valleys that is really representative of an actor's life. You know people in this business who have also done that. Once you're around for a long time, you guys, you know famous people. Like, you know them, and you knew them before, and you know them now, and you'll know them when they're not famous anymore. Like, that's how that rolls, right? And you know what it is to be on a veil. You know what it is to be pinned. You know what it is to not get your checks. You know what it is to,
had that text with my agent 5 minutes
ago. Like, where are my checks? I don't understand. Why aren't they giving them to me?
What's up?
All those sorts of things. And to have been on so many kinds of sets and experiences and had all of the stories. So we're talking to people who have a real breadth of experience across the board. You are both running, and you're running as part of?
We're running with the Unite for Strength slate.
Great.
There are sort of two major...
Great, we're going to get right to it. She's just going to get right in, you guys.
Political parties,
right?
And if you can call the factions, I guess. I'm running with Unite for Strength. I got involved with them because I was starting to get very vocal about, finding missing residuals and teaching a lot of people about that and so forth. And I was just getting very vocal on Facebook about my supportive unions across industries. Yes. And my friend Amir Talai recommended me to Asaf Cohen, who's one of the leaders at Unite for Strength.
Great.
Said, you need to recruit this gal. She's really smart and she knows all this stuff and she would very much fit in there. So I was approached and went to a meeting of those people, and I thought, oh yeah, these are my people.
Yeah.
And then Hayes and I started dating. You found the same thing. Through me, you just started kind of showing up to the Unite for Strength stuff.
I got into the union to begin with in the 2000s commercial strike. You know, and I do the lion's share. I mean, we do whatever work we can get, but the lion's share of it has been commercial. You know, you were talking about like the stage 2 actors, you know, when you are maybe not in a year where you're a stage 3, you know, you know, you see people, they're on that show and all of a sudden you don't see them at commercials anymore, auditions, and then the show gets canceled and then there they are in the room.
That's so true. I say like, and for those of you at phase 3, better stay involved because all the time, you find yourself back at stage 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, TV exists because of commercials, first of all.
Right.
You know,
that's right. That's a major thing I learned. And you know what it was that taught me that? And this will be great info for everyone listening, was I learned what upfronts were.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know. And so this is what an upfront is. They make all these pilots, and then when they're done, they have what's called upfronts. And the networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, they show that to advertising. And then advertising, not networks, but advertising says which ones they want to put their money behind. And so if you feel like, God, it's like somebody else is deciding like what our television is going to be, like it's so milk toast for every sort of like the lowest it's because it's paid for by Procter and Gamble. Like it's supposed to be a safe environment for advertisers. And then the other thing that taught me was about car commercials. I didn't know why it was that the new television seasons start in September, and it's because that's when the new car models are rolled out every year.
Because I actually joined SAG in the middle of the strike. Sort of, you know, I started like showing up to meetings and rallies and kind of got myself a little bit more educated about it, and I realized, oh, okay, this is kind of a big deal. And but so I got into it then, and I did start going to union stuff then. Okay. But I will say it was confusing. I was like, okay, well, I know some of these names of actors, right? Like, I don't really know what party is what and what that even means, but I know so-and-so from TV. Oh, she was on that show. I don't know. Do I vote for them?
Yeah, I only knew name recognition.
That's a recognizable name. Okay, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So then cut to, when when we met and when the contracts are negotiated, you know, there's different contracts for each of the different, you know, there's TV theatrical, there's voiceover, there's other stuff.
There's commercials.
And there's commercials. So starting then, I started figuring out about like, okay, there's these pre-negotiated meetings called the W&Ws, which is wages and working conditions meetings, and that is and like you said, I started realizing, wow, SAG-AFTRA, we're merged, is actually I mean, there are staff for sure, but it is primarily us members, and I don't think I really conceived it. Like I don't
think you can probably until you go to a meeting, and that's why I really say to all of you, I'm not asking you to go to every meeting. I really just want you to go to one a year. Because if you just go to one, if everyone in the union, 160,000 members strong, if everyone went to one, you would just know what you don't know. You would just be able to see the whole picture. And that's really what I want. And then whether or not you have the ability or the time, because I understand you guys have lives and all those sorts of things, to do more or get more or know more is up to you. I do this podcast so that you can have information, but I just want you to just go to one.
Yeah,
it's really changed our lives.
Yeah, and don't be. I think for me initially, I was like, well, I don't have anything to offer. Right. I don't have anything to say. But I thought
you didn't have anything to say, Katie.
Now I say everything. Now I have too much to say. But I realized I just learned.
Yes, that's how I feel.
Much.
Not only that, I'm always inspired.
Yes.
Because I don't know, you guys, I'm so old school about it. Like there's something for me about like artists rooting for artists. Yeah. Like I'm not sentimental about anything, but that is like this thing that I'm just like, it's so beautiful. And just like seeing a group of artists coming together, and I know the history of actors and unions, and just seeing that in action, and even in when it's passionate and all those sorts of things, that to me is so beautiful.
I've never believed in that more than now. It's the importance of storytelling.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
I was at the W&Ws for the theatrical contract.
Say again what that is so people know.
Wages and working conditions meetings
right.
that are where we discuss the contract that is about to come up for negotiations.
Yes. It happens the year prior to the negotiation itself.
Actors can come and voice their concerns.
So I just want to pause you and make this like super clear. Mm-hmm. So when I say to you guys, you are the union and the union is you, these W&Ws, which if you didn't know what that was, welcome to the club. None of us did. So these are meetings that actors go to, and the actors of that particular faction, whether that's commercial or theatrical or voiceover, they say, this is what I need more of. This is what I need less of. This is how I'm getting screwed. This is how it used to be versus how it is now and where we're going. And that's your opportunity to get your voice heard. So if you aren't attending those meetings and you're letting somebody else attend those meetings, then you are being represented by just another actor. Mm-hmm.
And another important thing about that is that, so when you go to these, it's open to anyone. So right. You show up and, learn. And you sign an NDA because the importance of that is that what is discussed is private, because eventually you are going to be bargaining against your employers, and you don't want,
we don't want them to know what's most important to you. Because if they know what's most important to you, then they can say, well, we know they really want this, so we'll get this other thing from them because we know they really want that.
Yeah, you want it to be kind of secretive. But one of the important things that we realize is that, we have great economists and stuff. So they're there's all smart. This data.
And one other thing I just want to clarify, you can go to days that don't pertain
to that,
to yourself.
Yes, that's
right.
Good.
So I don't do background. Yeah. I went to the background day. I don't do stunts. I went to the stunt day.
And can I just say to you guys, this is why you have to vote for Katie and Hayes, because no, seriously though, and I have this on my list to make sure I say, because it is not often, Katie, that I feel like somebody outworks me on work ethic. There's 3 people, and I will shout them out right now. You, my friend Fiona, and my friend Sean Qualdi you're the only people where I'm like, whew, girl, I am tired for you, man. You are, and that's everyone's opinion of me. And so just know,
thank you.
You really, because who does that? Really, who does that? Isn't that what we all say about people representing us? Is we just wish that they knew other sides.
Yeah, I can't, the staff can't know.
They can't know.
I can't know.
You can't know what you need to represent if you're not going to a meeting for background.
Well, and if you end up on the negotiating committee,
you have to negotiate for them.
For everybody.
Yeah.
For everybody.
So you better know all sides.
That's right.
Talking about how it, you were saying you're a bit sentimental about actors
coming together. Yeah.
I went to the W&Ws for the theatrical contract the morning after the national election. So the morning after 45 was elected.
That breaks my heart.
And it was Diversity Day.
Oh, God.
And I had to ugly cry.
I bet.
In the bathroom multiple times because the stories and the concerns of our diverse membership was heart-wrenching. Yes. And in this, in this bubble that we live in of this crazy country, it was even more emotional. It was so wonderful. And then the other night I was at a meeting about the strike for the interactive thing.
Yes.
And you know what was so wonderful? People were had different ideas and different sides of the issues and so forth. Mm-hmm. But people applauded for every single person who spoke, regardless of whether they agreed with them. It was amazing.
That's unity, though.
That's unity.
Let's go ahead and break down the Unite for Strength versus Membership First. So those of you who don't know, I was literally just informed of this 2 months ago, talking to Kelly Daniels, where she said that there are these 2 slates. There's the Unite for Strength and Membership First. And that if you're going to run for a position on the board, then you have to be a part of either of these slates, or you have to run as an independent.
Right.
That's correct,
yes.
right?
Yeah, so basically, the thing about being the slates is they are sort of political factions. Mm-hmm. But what I want to make really clear to people is that even though someone is on a slate, their vote is still their vote. And, you know, it's not a strict party line type of thing.
Right.
You know, my vote is still my vote. Hayes' vote is still his vote. And I may not agree with everybody on my slate, on my party. But I agree with much of everybody who's on Unite for Strength. And I think they're smart. And I admire these people. And I work with them frequently. So I've gotten to know them very, very well. The other thing about running for Slate, people say, well, why doesn't everybody just be an independent? Or I don't want to, you know, this, that, or the other thing. It's really hard for people to know who you are. Like we were saying before, like, oh, I recognize that famous actor. I recognize their famous name. I'll vote for them.
That's right.
So the only way that my face and my name are going to get in front of the people I don't know.
Otherwise it's too overwhelming. People it's like
I don't
400
know,
people.
Is to be on a slate with other people. And they'll get this mailer. They'll get a mailer.
They'll see it.
Yeah, the party will promote me with all of their campaigning things, their Twitter, their Facebook, their this, that, and the other thing. Otherwise, who am I?
Right. So Unite for Strength, as I'm told, is known for being a group of people that really think ahead more than they think of what was.
I think that is definitely true. Part of this is, I guess, giving to a community, but also part of it's selfish. It's like I want a better contract for me. Like the notion that we're gonna go negotiate a contract. I mean, anyone in the union is gonna go negotiate a contract that we work on, and then somehow try and screw ourselves over in that process. Is the more you get involved, the more you realize, well, that seems ridiculous.
Because I'm in a relationship with Jesse, who's super involved in technology. I'm really, really up on the shit that is coming. And so I even feel like it's like people don't even know. I try to tell people on this podcast, like, you guys don't even know what you're in store for.
A lot of times you think you got, if we just did this is what's important because this is the problem.
Yeah.
I won't give really a specific, but there was one in particular where I thought I knew, being out there every day, seeing this happen, I knew what the deal is. And then when I actually saw the real data, I was like, oh, that's actually not, first of all, the union knew that.
Yes, yeah.
They're not, they weren't unaware of that.
Yeah,
and I'm also kind of wrong. It's a slightly different problem. And there's also a bunch of committees. Like I didn't know there were committees. So now we're on a commercial performers committee.
Cool.
I'm on like a social media committee. I'm
on an outreach committee.
Educational outreach, etc. You know, I wanted to do more volunteer work. This has become a national issue with trying to break up labor unions. And so with the whole 45 coming in, you know, it's like, well, this is actually pretty important work we're doing now, you know, trying to help a union.
Can you tell me a snapshot version, what you really think Unite for Strength is platform sort of known for versus membership first?
Well, we'll start with the merger.
Okay, so you want to tell us what the merger is?
Yes. So SAG and AFTRA used to be separate unions. Our earnings were divided.
That's right.
You could be working in television. You could be having a guest star on this show and a guest star on that show, a co-star on the show, and theoretically enough money to qualify for health insurance. But because they were through the two different unions, you weren't qualifying for either. So a lot of people were upset.
Well, and that happened because the slow creep of television occurred. Whereas what happened was AFTRA was suddenly taking all these jobs for television as cable became a thing. People felt like the AFTRA contract was undercutting the SAG contract, which was then undercutting the AFTRA contract, which was then undercutting the SAG contract.
Right.
And so the merging of the two, as we all voted and felt that it would be a good idea.
Yeah, this group was born of that, where they came together to they believed that for the future a merged union was just necessary, and I've always aligned with that. I've always just thought it'd be crazy to have it split up.
Another way that came about is that membership first was the, I guess, party in power back in 2008 when the TV theatrical contract was up for negotiation. Yes. They failed to get that contract negotiated. So there were 9 months where, if you look on the SAG-AFTRA website, you'll see that it's on 2009. Our contract is 2009 when it should have been 2008.
Oh, interesting.
Because they failed to get it negotiated. And then when they finally did, there was no retroactivity, so there were like substantial losses. But also what happened at that time is since SAG seemed so unstable, a lot of shows, actually AFTRA's rate was higher for some things then.
That's what I'm saying. They were sort of like swinging.
But they were stable. AFTRA said, well, we can't hold out. We're going to negotiate. And we're going to go get this work. SAG members were inflexible. And we had always been negotiating sort of together. We'd go together to these negotiations, and the sort of inter-union relationship was really strained and really bad. So that's why all these shows started going to AFTRA, which made the split earning thing worse. Yes. It wasn't that AFTRA was like thumbing their nose up at SAG. Right. SAG was like, we want what we want. We're inflexible. We're not going to do it. We're going to hold out for 8 months. Part of the thing that merger did was, now that we stopped that undercutting and, there's not somebody else to take the jobs because we're together.
We've been successfully negotiating contracts.
We've added like $1 billion or something into actors' pockets since this happened. Yeah.
And couldn't have been better timing. And look at what happened. The business in general, kaboom. There are technological things happening. There are economic things happening. There are political things happening. And all of those giant systems have an effect on our cogs. Mm-hmm. And so you want to be informed of all of those things because that's what makes up where we are today and why we have the progress or lack of progress in any particular area that we have.
Your union is negotiating contracts against multinational corporations, gigantic advertisers, clients that have oodles of money and yet don't want to pay you a $75 late fee that you're owed for the money you didn't get paid for the commercial shot, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you are literally up against multinational corporations, and you can have an opinion about that, but it is...
but also those multinational corporations are paying literally your bills. Don't be confused about who you work for.
Unite for Strength was pro-merger. They made the merger happen. Yes. Membership First tried to keep members from being able to even vote on merger. They were so opposed to it. Yeah. And then of course once we merged, they were saying you're not merging the health plans fast enough, but it's like it takes some time.
Something a lot of people don't know this, and I did not know this.
Oh yeah, people don't understand this.
The health fund is not SAG-AFTRA the union. It's a separate entity. A lot of people think that because it's my health insurance, SAG-AFTRA needs to... It's actually co-run by both your employers and, members of the trustees and stuff. So, in other words, why didn't the merger of the health plan happen quicker? We'll ask your employer.
Ask your employer, which is not the union.
Yeah.
Employers are the producers.
We have to separately do I'm going to do a whole other thing about pension and health because I know nothing about it. And I always tell people, I'm the one who knows things. My friends all come to Audrey because they don't know things.
Me too, and
so
I don't have those answers.
Know things, then nobody knows.
I can't wait for this podcast.
Yeah, oh good. No, we're gonna figure it out.
To this.
And that's been a great thing, I will say, about Unite for Strength. There really are performers that have gone to, they've done 10 negotiations or something like that. They know this stuff so well.
Yes.
And I think that's important too. You come in going we need to do buyouts. We need to do away with residual. It needs to be like that. You have these ideas.
You need to get paid this way. Well, we did a pilot study. We actually would have been worse off.
We would have gotten screwed. There are all these ideas that, get put forth and then you kind of narrow down as a group.
Yeah.
To me, it was important because I do the listing.
Yes.
I wanted to know who the director was. I want it on the sign-in sheet.
Yes.
It has the agency, the
now he's
client.
Talking about commercials.
Yeah, for commercials specifically. And because I keep all these lists, I like to know... Well, I want to know when I'm going into audition. Maybe if you're a stage 1 actor, that's meaningless to you.
Yes.
But I've done it long enough that, I know what Brian Bellow's work is like. I know.
You know what tone he likes.
I know,
and that's going to be a different tone than if you're going in for a Wayne McClammy.
Yeah, it would totally
and if I know what room I'm walking into...
if you guys aren't impressed by this entire exchange, then I don't know who is. But they're right. What that really is know your author. That's a really big know your genre.
Yeah.
And when you're a baby actor, you're not going to do Miller the same way that you're maybe going to do Sam Shepard or Christopher Durang. They're 3 completely different authors.
Right.
And that's also true when you get into casting, and casting directors have their own brand.
Yeah.
Directors have their own brand. Everyone has their own style.
Yeah.
And when you can sort of know what that style is, you as an actor got into it so that you could shape shift, so you could be malleable, and you can bring that palette to them. So you wanted to know who the directors are.
I wanted to know because I had to I asked anyway. I wasn't going to not know, but then it was, semi-irritating sometimes for them to be like, well, I don't know. Yeah, you don't want to bother them. So why can't we just, know who the director is? It's sometimes it's in the breakdown that the agent gets, so why can't you write down? I just kind of casually mentioned that. And that apparently was I wasn't at the final negotiations, but apparently that was one idea that just so they were like, yeah, okay, fine.
See,
they didn't even argue it. Now it's on the thing.
And I just want you guys to know, that's just because you went to a meeting and had an idea. And you had an interest in something that you would like to see selfishly for you. And now we all get the benefit of that. Thanks, Hayes. Here's the thing. Hayes is creating these incredible lists. And so you're getting the benefit of his work that he's already put into it. So now you creating your own list is going to be easier. Guess what, guys? Directors all have their reels up. They have all of their real stuff. You can go watch their stuff. You can get a
in
sense
the waiting
of it.
room.
Yeah, in the waiting room.
Don't chat with your buddy.
You can get an idea of who they are while you're waiting.
Yes.
I want you to have your work come to a meeting and then have the systems put in place for you so that others can get the benefit of it. Mm-hmm. That's us working together because you are the union and the union is you. That's so great.
But wait, Audrey. We have to interrupt you.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you shit you didn't know about your union.
This is what I have to say about the voiceover world. It has changed drastically in the 11 years that I've been in it. And basically what started happening is there was this code, talk about predators. There was this code phrase in the voiceover world called special projects. And that was code for non-union. But nobody was saying that. So if you were a new actor in voiceover, you were taking a class from such and such casting director, and they said, hey, can you come in for this special project? You didn't know what that meant.
So you were taking those jobs.
You were taking those jobs because you didn't know. You were young. You didn't know that meant non-union. They were taking advantage of you. Okay. So what happened in that world is you were taught, well, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. I don't know if your actors know this, but particularly the radio world of voiceover has been decimated. Okay. Just decimated. Yep. So for the last contract negotiation for the audio, we now call it audio instead of radio, portion of the commercial contract, we didn't ask for any outsized increases or anything like that. We steadied the contract knowing
that's not it.
It's not going to happen. Yes. And this is we're dead to the water. We got to just try to keep what we can keep and hope that we can start to get this back over time. Yes. But a lot of this work has left us. Yes. And I believe that it has happened because casting directors, again, their allegiance is to the people who are hiring them, which is not us.
That's right. Just I want you guys to know that. The casting directors are hired by the directors and the production companies. Right.
And in doing so, they, started this whole special project thing. I mean, veterans in the business, 30, 40, 50 years, were doing these special projects. And what happened is, I think the union started to catch wind of all that. So the next thing you know, people are using fake names. So they're using fake names, and you're showing up at this casting director's office, and there's so-and-so famous person that you know, but he's going by this name today. And there's so-and-so famous gal, she's going by this name. So what casting directors didn't realize they were doing is they were pushing actors into the shadows. Yes. Don't use your name. Don't use your name. And then suddenly it was, well, I don't want the other people auditioning to see that I'm here because they're cracking down. So audition from home, audition from home. And what ended up happening is casting directors eliminated their own jobs.
They eliminated their own business.
By pushing actors into the shadows. So suddenly, actors were doing this out of their homes. And these entrepreneur, tech sites got wind of this. Voices123 started, voices.com. And suddenly,
all these jobs
were coming directly to them from, the clients were bypassing casting directors
for
completely.
$0.
Yeah, and just going through these
And then just so
companies.
you know, none of that money is then going to your health, to your pension, to any of that.
You're paying a higher tax rate.
Yeah. And so I just want to say to you guys, everyone listening, because I know there's agents listening to this, I know there's casting directors listening to this. It's such an important tale.
And mark my words. Yeah. What happened to the voiceover casting directors will happen to on-camera casting directors if they do not support the union. Right now, our union requires us to go in for an audition. It requires these auditions to be held. But there are companies like Upcast that are trying to get into the commercial casting thing where you're going to record your audition from your phone.
We know that that's true.
And they're going to bypass. It's going to happen. Yes. Their jobs are going to get eliminated. I mean, as soon as they're not doing union jobs that require union auditions, clients are going to get wise. Yes. They're going to get wise just like what they did with VO, and they're going to use these third-party sites where actors are going to upload their own stuff. People say, well, who cares? I don't want to be a commercial actor. I'm going to be a TV theatrical actor. So much of our funding for the union and our pensions and our health comes from that commercials contract. If that gets decimated, don't think that TV and theatrical aren't right behind it. What I'm basically saying is actors,
Shit rolls downhill, you guys.
shit rolls downhill.
Yeah. And so I just want you guys to know that. And if you're an actor who's listening who is SAG eligible, or you are not even SAG eligible yet, and you've ever heard anyone talk about the union in a way that is negative, I just want you to know they don't have your interests at heart. They just don't. And maybe some of them don't even know better. I'm not saying they're bad people. Some of them may not even know better. Like when these voiceover casting directors were cutting off their nose to spite their face, they didn't know better at the time, because it's a slow incremental process. Just like I was saying about change, you guys. Change is a slow incremental process that happens over time by very smart people undercutting people who don't know as much.
When people push actors into the shadows, so when that predatory person says, just this one time, nobody's going to know. For this on-camera stuff.
What does that sound like, you guys? When somebody says to you, just this one time, I won't tell anyone, if you don't tell anyone, what does that sound like?
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
I'll be voting pretty much down the slate. Unite for strength. Is there anyone that you recommend who is either of the membership first or independents that you like and that you're voting for?
Yeah, I'll single a couple of people out.
Right.
Chris Pierce is running as an independent. I will be voting for him.
He's been very involved from when we did too, right?
Chris Pierce, write it down.
Yeah.
Chris Pierce.
Write it down.
Somebody from membership first I'll be voting for is Sean Sharma. He's on the other side, but he's a smart guy, and he's a commercial actor and session director.
Does a lot of stuff with SAG Foundation.
Does a lot of stuff with the SAG Conservatory.
I love Sean Sharma. Teaches now too.
Yeah, the SAG Conservatory. Because he's teaching at the SAG Conservatory, he speaks a lot with younger Phase 1 actors, as you were talking about. And since I'm no longer a Phase 1 actor,
he's got their interests now in mind because he's talking to them.
Yes, so somebody like that is important. I feel to have their voice in the room. So I will be voting for Sean. Pretty much everybody else, I'm going down the slate.
Like one thing I didn't know, Gabrielle, she took over because Ken Howard, the former president, passed away unexpectedly, which is very sad. And so I tell you what, she is amazing, a badass. And what I didn't know until
because that's actually like next on the list. But I want to tell my story about Gabrielle before you guys tell your story about Gabrielle. Okay, I did Code Black with Gabrielle. I think it was like episode 2, so it was her first episode because I don't think that she was in the pilot, and she was just so lovely, and she came up to me and was like, I'm Gabrielle, and I was like, I know who you are.
Hi, Andrea Zuckerman.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my god. The day that we did the table read, I get a call that my brother is about to die.
Oh god.
Like out of nowhere. And so I'm like devastated, right? And I have to then go and work on Code Black, and also, you know, when you're the sibling, you usually then are taking care of all the funeral stuff because like the parents, like they can't handle it, right? And I'm a grown adult, so like I do all that. And so I'm sort of like handling that at the same time. And I'm doing a scene that is very physical. There's lots of things in my mouth because I'm like dying, and then they're, you know, pushing my body in different places. And those of you who don't know, Gabrielle, the reason she got involved in the union is because she was really hurt on a set. She got really involved in the union because they took care of her so well. And so she was like, well, I want to give back and I want to be a part of this. So I didn't know any of that. I was on set and very vulnerable. And she didn't know. And I didn't tell anyone that my brother had died because I was sort of, it was my problem and I didn't want to bring it to set. But you're very vulnerable already as an actor. Yes. And then if you have like the, you know, I was on set for like 8 days or something, and you already don't want to make waves, right? Then take that and put the death of a loved one on top of it. And then the scenes were emotional. And then people are putting things in your mouth and they're pushing on you and they're doing things that are physical. And I can't tell you guys, she didn't know me from anybody. I was just this actress on set. Every single take, she would stop in between the take and she'd be like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm okay. Because that's what you do as an actor. Like, no, I'm fine. Like, whatever. They can run over me. I'm fine. And she was like, no, I want you to say if you're not okay. Because if you're not okay, they can make it okay for you. And that's what she did explain to me, is that like production can make this easier for me. I don't have to take it. And after her checking with me, not once, not twice, but like several times, I would start to be like, actually, yeah, you know, I'm feeling a little something here. I'm feeling a little there. And she would be like, okay, she's feeling something here. She's feeling something. And then they would fix it. And so she was the voice to me that I didn't have the ability to have. And maybe I would have if I would not been in a vulnerable place. But that's the whole point, is like, we're already sensitive people. You already feel like a small person in a big world when you go on a giant set like that. And then God knows all of us have personal things happening in our lives, and you can never know what somebody else has versus what you have. And she was so there for me in such a maternal, protective, never upset at anyone, just looking out for me, right? And I have seen that behavior in her since she became elected. And the work that I have seen her do of really wanting to be involved, really wanting to get everyone's point of view so that she can go and swing for them. That's the Gabrielle that I experienced on set. That's who I am experiencing in the union. And I think we are so lucky to have her. I will be voting for her.
I will be voting for her as well. Her story of getting injured is amazing.
You guys can Google it if you don't know. You can Google it.
Yeah, she was doing TV movies. The other actor was pulling her by her head or her neck, and she was basically partially paralyzed.
Yes.
You know, her...
Didn't think she was going to work again.
Yeah, she didn't think she was going to work again.
And the union had her back, so she paid it forward as much as she could. And that's what I will say about Gabrielle Carteris. She has no ego.
No. And no fear, really.
She goes to the Capitol and fights for tax initiatives, incentives for California. She goes to the Capitol and fights
Telemundo.
She organized Telemundo.
Yes.
She goes and fights IMDb to try to get the ages taken off, which is everybody says it's about the celebrities. It's not. It's about working actors. It's about you and me.
Listen, once you get to LA, you stop aging. That's what people don't realize. It's like this magical thing that happens in this town, and you like the aging process is like slowed down exponentially. And so I have friends who are in their 40s, and if you knew they were in their 40s, you would die. I mean, I see people who they're like, "Oh, I'm 45," and I'm like, "What?" They look 30, right? Like, not a day over 30. And if people know that they're 45, that fucks them.
It's a bias, unconscious or not. It just goes in there.
And not only that, the people on the other side, they don't want that info. They've said that. They've said, we don't want to know their age.
One important point about her too that I didn't know until really recently, actually, is that the president that's not a paid position. I just
Nobody's paid.
People don't know that.
All volunteer. She goes all over the country meeting because it's not just LA.
No,
people.
It's not.
We have SAG-AFTRA members all over this country, mids and smalls.
And she went to all of them.
She's all over the place.
She went to all of them. Yeah.
And learning what actors' concerns, and that's part of the reason why we want to be elected as delegates. Because as delegates, everybody comes to the national convention and you meet people from other markets, and we have to all stand together, represent each other, and stand up for each other.
Learn from each other.
And she recognizes that.
And I just want to say about you two, too. You guys know how, I have this podcast. It's called Audrey Helps Actors. And I do it. And, listen, I'm not getting giant checks in the mail for this podcast. I'm doing it for you guys because I have a passion for all the things that you guys don't know. And I'm so grumpy about how fucked over and taken advantage of we get as a community because we just don't know better.
Yeah.
So I'm so passionate about giving you guys the information. And I just want you guys to know about Katie and Hayes. They have things at their house. They have people over and they teach them stuff. Those of you who are my close friends, you know how I have you over and I teach you stuff and you're like, "Oh my God, Audrey, I can't believe you taught me this. I had no idea." And I'm like, "I didn't either." But you know who does? It's Katie and Hayes. And they are actively helping people get more information. They sit down and talk to people about unemployment. They talk to people about reading their checks, about following their money, just about taking their business seriously as a business. And just know, these aren't super serious people I'm talking to right here. You guys don't have a reputation.
I'm the laziest person on the planet. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
That's what I'm saying. I just want people to know, they're actors just like you. They just have a passion for helping actors know more and be more empowered. And those are the people that you want representing you. Those are the people I want representing me.
I wasted so much time in trial and error and trying to figure things out.
That's why I do this.
And self-teaching myself everything I could. And
10 years trying to get a commercial.
10 years. And I was taken advantage of as a young actor, as a phase 1 actor.
Most of us are. So it really is a business advantage that we all get more information and we all can learn what are the rules and codes of conduct for treating each other appropriately.
And to that end, I just want to say that, none of us exist in a bubble.
Yes.
None of our contracts exist in a
true.
bubble.
Yeah.
Our industry doesn't exist in a bubble.
Yep.
What happens to the commercials contract will befall the theatrical contract. What happens to the interactive contract will befall the commercials contract. What happens if things are going badly for our union, things are going badly for all entertainment workers.
That's right.
Okay?
Right.
And then if things are going badly for entertainment workers, things are going badly for the economy as a whole. Our union is weakened, other unions are weakened. We all as a whole society are connected.
Yeah, I tell people, don't be all like, I'm super political on my Facebook private group page about politics, and then not ever go to a union. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to be involved? Come be involved.
Or work off the card. That is actually one of the direct things I will say to people about, look, you did you vote for 45? Because, a lot of people didn't who are artists. And so actually often the answer is no, of course not. Okay, great. So why are you
union busting?
Why are you union busting? Oh, well, what do you mean? By the way, he thanks you for that.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for, Scott Walker thanks you for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the trying to break up labor unions. Thank you for that. I didn't know you supported all that, but great, way to go.
Yeah, that's right.
And people really, so one of the ideas we started having is to get the word out there. We started doing Q&As at, I had mentioned my experience at the Groundlings where, gosh, had union stuff ever been discussed as part of the comedy program, well, heck, I might have made some really different decisions there. Yeah. And so one of the ideas was like, why don't we get to the comedy schools? Because another thing we realized is, oh, by the way, guess who's going to comedy schools directly now?
Yes.
Advertisers.
They are.
They're going past agents.
Everybody.
They're going past casting. They're going right to UCB
and
or wherever.
And they're like, hey, guys, we're going to give you some. This would be like $400. And to them, they're like, $400. Sounds great. They don't realize then they're roped into that forever, and then that will be up there for all of life.
It was just really interesting to have this discussion about, non-union work creeping in and how that relates to young comedians who want to get involved in improv. They want to build up a reel. They want to make some money acting, and gosh, wouldn't that be nice? And how some of this can be really... It can be seemingly attractive, but there are just a lot of, dangers in doing it. And so getting that word out there to
knowing that they don't have your best interest in mind. That's what I'm really trying to tell actors is you think that they're on your side, and I just want you to know they're not. And it's not personal. It's not because they don't like you. It's not because they don't care about you. It's because their objective as a business is to get you more for as little money as humanly possible.
David Hyde Pierce, actually, he had done some progressive spots, I guess, before the whole flow thing.
Yeah.
And he had mentioned, he said, the union exists because I love this so much. I love acting so much that I would do this for free. The union reminds me that I need to be paid for this.
Yeah,
I was like, well, that's
so
an interesting way of looking at it. Someone just the other day was saying, you know what? A union contract is to protect you.
Yes.
A non-union contract is to protect the company. And I had never really quite thought of it that way, but it's good point.
Yeah, and so when you are like thinking about doing this thing, and it's like, and I know how it happens, you guys. I know that it's almost always sneaky. Like, usually you get this opportunity, as you all heard from Ashley's episode this last week, you get this opportunity, you're told that it's union, and then they sneak trap you, and they do a bait and switch technique on you, and then you're already excited about the job, and then you're already excited about the money, and like you're dreaming of the incredible things that will come of the job, and so they've got you.
And they don't.
Yeah. I just want you to know, when you do that, you are dismantling all this stuff that I know so many of you are really fighting for. You're fighting for the right to the worker. You're fighting for jobs. You're fighting for protections and health insurance and all of these things. And so when you take that and you think it's just you, here's what I want to say about just you. Just think about all the people in the last election who felt like, well, I didn't go, but it's just me. Because it's hard. For a lot of people, it's really hard. It's hard to go out and get your vote out there. It takes time. It takes getting informed. For a lot of people, it takes childcare, whatever that is for you. And so it's like, it's easy to just go, it's just me. But it's not. It's just you with a bunch of other collective people that are just you, and they know that. They know that.
It's also a great time to get the union involved because in that specific instance, too, with baiting and switching, that's a great time to have the union because, first of all, they're just testing the waters there.
That's right. They're seeing if you will do it.
Don't know any better.
Yeah. And a great number of people in the phase 1 to like partway through phase 2, I'd say, the newer phase 2 actors don't know any better. So they're testing. And just so we're all clear, that's predatory behavior.
Yep.
And that is something that I know that you're all against. And just like when a predator, is going to come and test you for a second and say like, hey, maybe I can get you to do this. Oh, you still act cool about that? Maybe I'll get you to do this. And then, bam, you're in danger. This is the same situation.
If there are no one in that situation is going to be mad at you for sticking up that matters because you're like, whoa, what if the casting person gets mad and never calls me? They're probably maybe not as pissed as you are, but they're probably pissed too. Of like, it wasn't their idea to like bait and switch you. That's not coming from them.
And not only that, but as I pointed out in Ashley's episode, if you have somebody that is telling you to do that, they're not looking out for you either. Mm-mm. So if the casting person is like, it's just this once, just this time, that's because they've made a promise to deliver a high caliber talent that is actually not deliverable without it being union. So they get to fulfill a promise that they shouldn't have promised in the beginning. And then if your agents are asking you to do it, then your agents are asking you to risk really your safety, bottom line, your safety, you guys. I'm not even going to talk about the fact that you likely will never get that check. Or if you do, you're going to get it in like forever. And that agent is just looking out for some money. And whatever the non-union job is, whether that is some film, whether that's some commercial, whether that's some show, they're not going to get the money from that. It's not good money. So if you have the kind of rep who is like, I want you to come do this non-union show so I can get money, just hand them their $300 and say, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you pretend to represent me. You obviously don't represent my actual interests, and so I'm going to have to go find someone who does. You're an actor who gets taken seriously and asked to be paid.
Yes.
To be paid and to be paid well. And I keep telling you guys, I want you to make that fucking cash. You deserve it. You have put in so many hours and so much time. I say this out of so much love. You would not go be in medical school and put in your time in a residency and then be like, cool, I'm just going to work for free from now on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that surgery looks great on your reel.
Yeah, that surgery looks great on your reel. No. It's like, I understand there is a phase 1 part, and I want you to earn. I want you to earn your phase 2, phase 3 status. I do want you to do that. I want you to put in your hours. But know when you've put in your hours, you've put them in, and you are of value. And when you undercut your value, you undercut everyone's value. So I want you to know you're valuable because you have put in the time to be of value. You have practiced a craft. You have gotten better at the business side of the craft, and you are due money for that because they are making money off of the hours that you've put in. So you deserve to make money off of the hours that you've put in.
Absolutely.
Preach.
Preach. Hallelujah, right?
I mean, that's how the guild was formed in the first place.
That's right.
A small group of actors risked their careers, really, to form the union in the first place.
Right now, Katie and Hayes, they're going to go through just bullet points of Unite for Strength.
This under the Unite for Strength leadership. SAG-AFTRA has managed to do a bunch of amazing things. They merged. SAG and AFTRA to become one union, which is...
And I have never regretted that. Have you ever regretted it? Come on.
No, that's so great.
Whatever people were afraid of happening did not happen, and we've just been able to negotiate contracts without strikes.
What they were worried about is like not getting that 1978 money.
So they fought for the merger of the unions, and they made that happen, which has resulted in the merger of our healthcare plans. Great. Our pensions coming down the road. They're working really hard at that. Right. They fought for the age discrimination and the enforcement of our contracts.
And that's a tough fight. I mean, Amazon is... They doubled down on that one, and I mean, that's a real fight. So the fact that we're fighting it hard is important.
Yeah. Unite for Strength has their eye on capturing emerging platforms, VR, things like that.
So
things
the age discrimination, sorry, let's go back. Mm-hmm. The age discrimination, just so everybody knows, is your age being up on IMDb. which is owned by Amazon.
Correct.
So that's why Amazon is such a giant fighting us, and we are fighting them.
Yeah, we
Unite
actually
for Strength is fighting them.
Right, we won. In
court.
We
won in court,
We
and
won
they're
the
still
state of
like,
California.
nope.
Right, and they're appealing and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But so it's a real
Okay,
fight.
so let's go from that point.
We've Unite for Strength has successfully negotiated contracts putting $1 billion into the pockets of actors. They've flipped a lot of this non-union commercial work. They've managed to flip something like 100 jobs now from non-union to union.
Yeah.
One cool thing too that I didn't really realize is that because you might say, hey, I don't like this proposed contract because of these little things here. So I'm going to vote no, send it back to the table and get those things. First of all, management or producers or whoever you're up against, they never start like, hey, why don't we give you a 2% raise instead of a 3% raise?
Yeah.
It's always something completely insane and onerous, like, let's do away with the residuals altogether, or something crazy like that. That's where you're starting.
That's a negotiation tactic.
Right.
Just like when you're like, I want to pay $10,000 for this car, and they're like, no, I want you to pay $100,000.
Yeah,
and you're like, what?
Or why don't you pay us?
And you whittle.
And so, you're not going to get everything. They're not going to get everything. You're not going to get it all. Yeah.
That's what a negotiation is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Some other things that Unite for Strength has done is they gained coverage for dancers and performers in music videos. That's new coverage. We organized Telemundo, which is huge.
But
the
you just
Telemundo thing is
music
huge.
video. We organize music videos. You just gloss, but that's a huge talk about predatory stuff. And when you're new to organize that's a big deal.
No, they really want to talk about predators. That music video scene is huge for that.
Big time.
Other stuff and real predators too.
Other stuff that Unite for Strength has done. We have faster residual processing now. It used to take so long to get residuals. Now things are coming in 60, 30 days even sometimes, which is fantastic. We have our new member app. Talk about being forward-thinking. Forward-thinking.
All I need, I told you guys, I had zero faith that the union would ever do anything that was technology-wise that was, worth anything, but the app is so great. If you don't vote for Unite for Strength for any other reason than the fact that you have an app where you can track your residuals, you can find your events, you have your emergency contact info, which we just heard with Ashley how important that was and how helpful they were, then I don't know what we're doing here.
Well, also, Jason George, and what is he running?
Jason George is running for National Secretary Treasurer.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a great idea where he wants, our cards to be like signing in and signing out with the magnetized strip of our cards.
You don't even have to worry about overtime. So
we're not even talking about the future, you guys. We're talking 2004. Let's join it.
These are our priorities for Unite for Strength. We're trying to join the now.
The now.
Thinking for the
we're
future.
We're going to take the union out of 1934 and move it into 2017.
And speaking of which,
yes,
it's coming down the pike, but Unite for Strength has managed to get direct deposit coming down, you guys. Direct deposit for our residuals coming.
You guys, that's huge. Why would you vote for anyone but Unite for
Strength?
Strength?
Well, because I like to get 0-cent residual checks mailed to me.
I like to waste paper and stamps.
That's right. Like I say to you guys, I'm the most involved person that I know all of you know. Anyone who knows me personally, you're all texting me for information. And I will say the people that I go to for information when I'm like, I don't know, I text people that are all on the Unite for Strength ballot. That's who the people that and that didn't happen. I'm not involved in Unite for Strength. I don't have anything to do with it. Katie, you've been like, why don't you run?
Yeah, I was like, Audrey, we need you. You need to be with us. And you're like, you know what? I need to be impartial.
Yes.
I want to be able to present all sides. Right. The actors I'm trying to help. And I respect that. I totally respect that.
I was like, I don't want people to think I have some ulterior motive. I just want you guys to know all the people that are the union people that I know that are involved in the union. It's just happened to be a Unite for Strength group of people.
Gabrielle Carter's cell phone number is in my cell phone.
That's so cool.
And that again speaks to her.
Yeah.
Once I started getting involved, she goes, "Here's my cell number."
See, that's so cool, you guys.
I wasn't many years in when she went in. I got right involved as soon as I started showing up. Hey, Katie, here's my cell phone number.
See, she's a badass. You guys.
She's a badass.
That speaks to being part of a profession, being a professional actor too. No one is like, oh my gosh, I got to do a thing with this non-union guy. It just doesn't happen. You aspire to some level of professionalism.
Right. Last thing, we end with a mildly interesting This can be anything that you think is interesting. It can be a recommendation.
I'll give you the best advice I've gotten.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I've been itching for this one from Terry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I went to lunch with it, doing all the listing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there was the director, and we didn't know each other yet, but I was working the connections, and I think his parents had gone to school with my parents or something. I don't know, something. Anyway, I was like, well, cool. He's in Hollywood. I'll go look him up. So we went out to lunch. We're really good buds now. Awesome guy. But we sat down and we were just kind of talking about something like that, about the whole why you don't get something and how
it's so out of your
completely
control.
illogical and out of your control. But you say that, but then it's really hard not to believe it, right? Where you're like, yeah, but I probably didn't get it because I sucked, or I got it because I killed it.
Right.
And he goes, you know what? Not only do you not want to know why you didn't get something because it's so illogical.
Yeah.
Like if you really sat in there and figured out why,
so
like you look like the director's boyfriend, and you like whatever it is, and then we just needed a blonde or something.
Yeah.
To make, whatever the thing is. It's so illogical. It doesn't matter. Not only that, you don't want to know why you did get something for those same reasons. Just be glad that you're in there. You're getting the callbacks. You're getting the video. You got the audition. You're in the game. You're in the mix. And sometimes you get the job and just don't think about it too hard, because if you knew why you did get something, you might similarly be like, oh.
Mildly interesting. This is a mildly interesting fun fact about myself, I guess. I am the current voice match for Snow White for Disney.
That's so exciting. Are you allowed to do it now? Or you can't?
Yeah, I
You want to say anything?
I'll just say I'm the fourth one since 1937. I want to be really clear that the voice of Snow White is still Adriana Castellotti, and that I am matching
yes, I
her.
see what she does.
I don't want to say too much because I get a little loud, but she might just say, well, hello there.
That's very...
Won't you smile for me? That's better. Things like
That's
that.
very good.
Goodbye. Things like that. But what really makes it fun for me is not that I have that job.
Yeah.
What makes it a fun fact for me is that the gal who did it before me, when I booked the gig, she sent me a long letter passing the crown. Talk about loving actors, and that's my favorite part about this business. Yeah. And she explained to me that she had studied with the gal who was before her. She had also, because she's a writer at the Disney parks, she had met Adriana Castellotti, and they had sung "I'm Wishing" together once in passing when they met. She said, "Oh, you sound like me. You sound like let's sing this together." So she had met the original, studied with the second, and now here she was. She
so gracious, and
she literally in this thing talks about passing the crown onto me. And I have it framed now.
So
It was
a beautiful letter.
So gracious, and I hope that I get emotional about it. But I hope when the time comes and I lose this job, because I will, because nothing is permanent, because my voice will age and I will go, and when the next gal comes, I hope that I have enough notice and time to tell her the same story and write her a lovely long letter.
Yes.
And I'm so moved by the generosity of my fellow actor.
I'm with you. I'm so with you. Mine isn't nearly as beautiful as either of yours. But my mildly interesting is going to help you guys sleep. So that's
I
not
need
about
this.
football.
Give it
the
to
sleep
me.
app?
Give it.
The sleep app?
It's not
Give
the
it
sleep
to me,
app.
girl.
Here's the truth about melatonin, you guys. This is what I've learned. I take melatonin and it helps me sleep like a rock star. And I've come across many people who've said, I've tried it, did nothing for me.
That's
so here's the
that,
secret.
That happened to me.
Are you ready for the secret?
Okay.
Is you have to get the real melatonin. Now, so those of you who aren't aware of the vitamin industry and how it's just a giant fucking racket, most of what you buy at most stores is fake. They've done numerous studies of all the supplements that you buy, and then they test them, and then the supplement is all rice powder with a touch of vitamin C. So what you want to do is get your melatonin from someplace that is reputable. I get mine from the Co-op. You can get yours from someplace that is definitely It's organic. It has a reputation. What's in it is what works, because I know this because I was taking the reputable melatonin and was falling asleep like in a half hour and was like out. And sometimes, when you wake up in the middle of the night and then your mind starts going, I would like do that. I would like, my mind started going in the middle of the night, I'd just take melatonin and then in a half hour I'd be out. And then somebody gave me their bottle of melatonin that they just got at like CVS or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's great, because I'm almost out of mine. And I started, because they were like, it doesn't work for me. And I started taking theirs and it didn't work. It just didn't work. And it's so important for so many of us because we have such bonkers schedules and so many days where you like have to be up at freaking, 4 in the morning and you're just not going to be able to sleep or whatever it is, or you need to nap during the middle of the day because you have this thing at night and you have this thing in the morning, and so you need to get your sleep in the middle of the day. It's a real thing that's been a legacy in Hollywood, the sleep world. And I just can't tell you how helpful it has been to me, and it doesn't give you a sleep hangover. It's not like taking Tylenol PMs or Benadryls. You don't feel any of that in the morning. You just wake up completely normal and refreshed, and you can take 1 to 3 just depending on what your thing is. They have 2 kinds, some that you can take underneath your tongue, which is like a dissolving tablet. Some you take with water. I take the ones underneath my tongue because if I'm like wake up in the middle of the night, I don't want to like search for water. You just pop it underneath your tongue and there you go.
You buy this where?
I buy
Co-op?
mine at the co-op, but I'm sure that ones at Whole Foods are probably really good. Any of those, but just make sure that you're getting, and you can ask when you go to like these vitamin places. Don't go to the fucking vitamin store like the
GNC.
Yeah, don't go to that one. No, you have to go to like the hippie stores.
Yeah, the hippie stores.
And when you talk to the hippie stores, you tell, because there's always a person assigned to the vitamin section. Yeah. And you just should make sure you get somebody that knows what they're talking about and say, which one of these is real? And they will tell you, this is the one, they all take melatonin B2W. You're like, which one is real? And they're like, this is the one I take. This one works. I'll go ahead and post a link. I can show you which one I take so that you can take it. And I can just tell you, it's so great.
This is going to change my life.
I hope so.
And I just want to button it really quick to know, you know what else is like
I know where you're
fake
going.
in out in the world?
Yes.
Ecstasy.
No.
No, but I know what you're going to say. Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Parmesan cheese.
Oh, interesting.
If you buy shredded Parmesan cheese or grated Parmesan cheese, it's mostly wood filler.
Yeah.
That's what keeps it from sticking to each other. Over the chain of time and over time, they kept adding 5% and 5% and 5% and 5%. Most grated Parmesan cheese has no Parmesan cheese in it.
I'm so
That's
horrified.
a whole food chain. Yeah, my sister-in-law was just telling me all about this.
Any final last words about your slate and about voting?
Our good pal, Lori Handler, posted something about this today. If you don't vote,
fuck off.
I don't want to hear you complain about it.
I'll curse for you.
Yeah.
If you don't vote, fuck off.
Yeah. Vote in the elections.
Mm-hmm.
Vote.
Yeah, some people, I'm getting a lot like who does what, and like, part of it is like, yeah, I could tell all that to you, but probably you should start showing up and like, I can tell that, I can help you understand a little bit, but also you should know
start
that.
Getting involved.
Yeah,
That's what
involved.
I say, you guys. 1 meeting a year. I'm not asking for the world. I just want you to start at 1. Just start at 1. Just go to 1 before the year ends. Not a SAC conservatory.
No.
Meeting. No, an actual union meeting. And how can you find out about these meetings? Let me tell you. They're on your app, which you're going to go download. It's under events. There's a little section that you can look up, and it's going to tell you what the meetings are. I so appreciate you guys doing this.
I adore you, and you're doing a great service for actors. And
even if you're godless.
Even if you're godless. So godless.
Yeah.
I adore you. I could talk to you till the end of time.
Me too.
And
we'll take a vacation together.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't think we will.
We're leaving LA.
We'll go to Santa Barbara. That's what we'll do.
We'll go just close enough that we can still get back to audition.
We need you back.
We're there. See you later. Yeah.
I can only make it as far as Leo Carrillo.
That's right.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having. Thank you so much for coming, and I am so excited to see you guys win that election.
Yeah, vote. Definitely vote right now.
Next week on Audrey Helps Actors, we talk to Vanessa Celso Anderson and Jerry Ying about being actors and being parents. So many of you I know are dreaming of the days of babies, and some of you are really just getting into the thick of it, and some of you, like Jerry, have a 10-year-old, and I wanted to get as many points of view about this as possible. I wanted a male actor dad and a female actress mom, and Vanessa has 2 kids under 5, and Jerry has a daughter that's 10. Both of their spouses have real jobs, and I just wanted them to come and talk to you about what that life is like. I know a few of you are interested, and they're really lovely. You're going to enjoy the episode so much, so stay tuned. And don't forget to write me a review. You better write me a review. Write it. Write it right now. This show is produced and edited by Jesse Lumen. He is a writer, director, producer, and virtual reality genius and wizard. If you are creating a current virtual reality experience, please look him up and get in contact with him because he is on it. Special thanks today to Hayes Hargrove and Katie Von Till for their wonderful contributions, both to SAG-AFTRA, to this community, this podcast. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did, and I hope you learned and were inspired just like I was. Also, special thanks to Thomas Snodgrass for the mic assistance and providing us with an extra mic here and there. And special thanks to Alok Mehta for all of his help and work on the theme song. Music this week by Ari De Niro. All right, don't forget your towel.